Hi, I'm Becca from My Crazy Good Life. Today we're making cloud bread. It's a delicious snack, it's low carb, and it's a great bread alternative that you're going to love. This is one of my favorite recipes to make. It's only got 3 ingredients, so let me show you how it's done. You're gonna need some baking powder, 3 eggs that are room temperature, and unflavored Greek yogurt that's room temperature. So first you're gonna separate the egg whites from the egg yolks. I like to put the whites in the bigger bowl and the yolks in the smaller bowl. The egg whites are going to get the baking powder. The egg yolks are going to get the Greek yogurt. So we have to blend both of these. I'm going to do the egg yolks with the Greek yogurt first. So now I'm going to rinse the mixer and I'm going to go ahead and do the egg whites. I have to rinse the mixer first because when you use egg yolks, they can't touch the egg whites or the egg whites won't stiffen and peak normally like they should. Now we're gonna beat the egg whites in the baking powder and we're gonna do it on high and we're gonna do it until stiff peaks form. So that means that when I turn off the mixer and lift up the beaters, if there are peaks like mountain peaks at the very top, that means that it's ready. I wanna make sure to get all the way to the bottom and I wanna make sure to get all around the outside so that there's no egg whites that are liquidy because that's gonna come into play when we mix everything together and put them on the tray, and I'll explain that later. All right, so I see our peaks. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the batter off of the beaters. And rinse this off, and then we'll incorporate it all together. So our oven is preheating to 300 degrees, and we're gonna go ahead and mix these together. So you don't wanna overmix, because what's gonna happen is all the liquid is gonna sink to the bottom, which is fine, except when you start to scoop out the cloud bread and put it on the pan, you're gonna get these nice big fluffy pieces, and then the bottom is gonna start to kind of liquefy underneath, and that's gonna make it a little bit brown, it's gonna make it darker. And also what happens if you overmix it is that when you're done scooping out all the really good batter, you're gonna have a lot of liquid left over, and you can cook that, but it's not gonna rise like cloud bread, and it's gonna be a little bit darker than the rest. So this is how we incorporate it. So you definitely want to just stir until it's all mixed together, not more than that. So now we have our batter. Notice that it's normal, it's totally normal to have a little bit of that yolk at the bottom. You're not gonna be able to cook all of this. And so the way that we were mixing to have the least amount of liquid at the bottom is the best. So overmixing produces more of that liquid, but some of that liquid is gonna happen. So I use a Silpat mat on a baking sheet. And I do that because it's less likely to stick. If you don't have a Silpat mat, that's fine. You should just spray it really well with like coconut oil or olive oil, but it really helps it to not stick. So we're gonna grab a scoopful of this, and then I'm just gonna put one in the middle of every circle here. So this is the cloud bread that you want. This is the batter that you want. You want it to be nice and fluffy. You want it to be full of air. And so it's always best to try to put all of these in the oven at once and to not make like multiple batches at once. Because while some are cooking, you're gonna have a ton of batter sitting on the counter, and that kind of gets liquidy. We're gonna stick these in the oven. I'm gonna stick this tray in of just the rest of the batter, and I just want you to take note of what the other bowl of batter looks like and how we're not gonna be able to use it all, and that is okay. So I just pulled these out of the oven. They're browned perfectly. They look great. I'm gonna put some sea salt on them. If you put it on as soon as they get out of the oven, it'll stick to them. If you wait a little while until they cool, it won't stick as well. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of sea salt on each one. So these are good for, you can make mini sandwiches with them. Some people make them bigger and put like full sandwiches on them. Some people make them bigger and put pizzas on them. I get a lot of questions about if you can freeze them, and I feel like they are delicate. In my house, they don't last long enough to freeze because I make a batch and they're gone within like an hour. I've tried to put them in the fridge before and they get a little bit soggy, and so I don't feel like they'd freeze really great. You can toast them, but you have to be very careful because they toast very fast. It's 3 ingredients, and so they're super easy to make. Play around with the recipe, see what you can do with it. See if you can make a pizza with it, see if you can freeze it. I think they're delicious. Just a few tips to make sure that you get the perfect cloud bread. 1, all of your ingredients have to be room temperature. 2, make sure that you use your beaters on high to get really good, stiff, firm peaks for your egg whites. And number 3, don't overmix your batter. So that's how to make cloud bread. It's delicious, it's light, it's low carb, and it's a great bread alternative. I hope you love it, and please leave some comments below and let me know how yours turned out.